Your title and the university's name.
Okay, so I'm based at the University of East London. My name is Dr. Darren Sharp, and I'm a Senior Research Fellow at the Institute for Health and Human Development.
Okay. Darren, obviously the referendum's coming up. Lots of talk about all sorts of issues and voters and the registration, etc. In terms of young people, the research that you did, what were some of the headlines that came out about that? I mean, what do young people know about Europe, or what don't they know about Europe?
Okay. Well, I did my research 2014, just around the time of the European parliamentary elections. And so the aim of my research was to actually engage young people to find out exactly what do they know and what don't they know. And I found that 72% actually consider themselves to be European, which was a positive sign. 81% didn't really know that much about how the European Union impacts on their daily lives, and even more young people didn't know or couldn't connect with the European Commission.
How surprising were those findings?
It wasn't totally surprising, because if you was to ask a group of adults the same questions, I'm sure they would have gave similar answers. But part of the kind of findings, what came out to me, was the fact they wanted more information, they wanted more credible information.
And what do you think that really says about young people and their relationship with politics and Britain and Europe generally?
I think there's a connection between the loss of trust and faith in British politics, which translates over to European politics, the faceless politician and the faceless institutions. But what is more surprising, this referendum is one about emotions and identity, as it is much about a rational choice for which party or which body you're voting for. So on a positive note, they felt European, they felt interconnected and integrated. But in terms of a bureaucracy, what governs us and impacts upon us, they know very little about. And they're crying out for information.
And generally, voter turnout amongst the younger population is quite low. I mean, at the last general election, it was around 43%. There are fears that that could be repeated this time around. And actually, young people could hold the key to this referendum, couldn't they?
Well, yeah, they form around 12% of the voting bloc, really, the 18 to 24-year-olds. And my research, my work, has been about galvanising them, getting them informed, getting them engaged, and getting them registered. So regardless of which way they vote, my work is neutral. It's about sharing and giving information.
Young people, they could hold the key to this referendum, but if we look at past history, they don't turn out, do they, to vote?
Well, again, there's parallel statistics what shows a decline in younger people voting, but also in older people voting. It's predominantly the much older, the ageing or the retired group what traditionally comes out to vote. So that figure isn't really surprising, but what my research tells me is that young people are engaged in politics, interested in politics. They was campaigning to lower the age to 16, for instance, to vote in this particular referendum. But what young people do need is information. They need credible information, one which isn't biased necessarily with the in or the out campaign, information what isn't premised on the tabloids. They want credible, empirical research.
And through the research that you did, were you looking at different kinds of young people, different groups of people, and how do opinions and sort of perceptions of Europe vary?
I was actually, it's interesting, the group of young people we targeted was the white van driver's son and daughter. The swing voter. And so we went across the country. We went to Scotland, Wales, different areas of London and England to actually do surveys and focus groups and talk to young people about what are the issues that really impact upon them. So we really targeted those what are disengaged from traditional politics.
And specifically, I mean, you were saying that some of them don't feel like they're getting enough information, but were there any other views coming out? I mean, did you find that young people are generally very bothered about Europe, life outside Britain? Well,
our project in 2014 was premised on how do you imagine Europe in 2020? And we was asking them for their imaginations. How would they like to see the European Union? And the general trend was moving away from a federal Europe, but still a strong economic bond and cultural exchange taking place, but one which is less regulated. in all fairness. That's what our young people was articulating it. In terms of immigration and free movement, there was no real kind of contentious issue. There was no problems with that because they could equally see the benefits of going to Spain for an extended holiday or maybe to work or maybe to live. And also they lacked understanding of the opportunities for training and education. The fact that you can potentially study on the continent with a parallel degree for cheaper the price you'll be actually paying in the UK. So there was a host of information they wasn't aware of.
Going forward, based on your research, how do you think we could get more young people to vote in something like the EU referendum?
Well, there's a number of strategies we can employ to engage young people more in politics. One, argument, we can follow the Australian model where we make voting compulsory, so you're actually fined if you don't take part in the democratic process. The second is about citizenship education, which has experienced lots of cuts over recent years, but combined with lowering the voting age to 16, which would make it then more compulsory for educationers or educational workers to actually be targeting young people at a much younger age and actually teaching them about the democratic process. And one of my studies, or one of the findings actually, the key findings, was that young people in the UK want to learn more about the European democratic process. They don't know anything about it because they're not taught anything about it. It's only when they go to university or perhaps college or a specialised A-level course in politics, that's when they're exposed.
But of course then that don't go on into further education or higher education, what happens to them? Are they voters that are then potentially lost?
Well, if we don't target them at their GCSE levels, then yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good stuff.
So it's all about